Hello, everybody. This is Baby Investor here, and thanks for joining our special Halloween special for Market Watch episode something. Right, if you are here, can you just type in BI? Can you just type in baby? If you can hear me loud and clear, can you just type in baby? BABY. Hello. All right, make sure you are able to hear me, okay? And please help us to share this video out. Otherwise, something will happen. I'm not sure what will happen, but something will happen. All right, help us to like and share. Okay, and today, we are very happy to invite a good friend of mine. Okay, this friend has been hiding at the top of the mountain for a long time. And today, because Halloween, I've invited her to come and share with all of you. All right, if you are excited to learn from my friend, okay, because she is going to share with all of you very interesting company, okay, that is going to make you profit. Okay, so good company that's going to make you profit. So if you are excited to hear from my friend, can you just type in NUN? Type in NUN. All right, when I see enough NUN, I will invite my friend out. And before I invite my friend out for today, we have something really special. So just to make sure that you are able to stay focused with us throughout this whole market watch. So later on during the video, you will be able to see this logo appearing. So when you see this logo appearing, the first person that types in bonus, BONUS, will receive a gift from us. All right. So at any point of time during this video, if you see this appearing, quickly type in BONUS, and at the end of this session, we will let you know what is the special gift that you will actually receive. And we might be giving more than one special gift. All right. So be sure to actually stay focused. Right. And we have a lot of Nan coming out. So without further ado, let me invite my friend, the Nan, to appear on the screen.
Hello, I'm the Nun. I think this episode we're gonna scare a lot of people away. So if you are afraid, please don't share this post out to other people to scare them. So I'm the Nun, I'm Bowen's friend, and today we're gonna have a Halloween special and gonna talk about some spooky stuff. So, do you like spooky? If you like spooky, can you just type in SP? Can you just type in SP? Nobody likes spooky? I'm waiting for the first spooky to appear. Okay, we see some spooky stuff. So, I'm gonna share with you what we're gonna share today. So, firstly, we're gonna share about some spooky good stocks. Do you like spooky good stocks? We'll share some spooky good stocks, and as a bonus, we'll share something not so good also. Then after that, we will talk about this thing called spooky investing terms. So I'm not sure whether you guys have heard about dead cat rebound and also vampire stocks. Oh, I see many scary remarks. Bowen, I think we should stop doing this show. I think we're gonna get censored by Meta very soon. And lastly, we will share about some spooky tales about horror investing stories. Okay? So I need to leave the lights on tonight. Oh no. Okay. Let's go. Let's go to the stuff now. So when we talk about stocks, okay, I just did a Google and I found that Morningstar listed on the left side 10 most overvalued stocks. Okay, so example, some of them in the UI community we are quite familiar: Netflix, Lululemon, Square, Moderna. So these stocks, according to Morningstar, they are actually overvalued. So what they did is they use a price to fair value, and then it's very overvalued. But let's see, maybe afterwards I'll ask my good friend, the baby investor, to look at some technical charts to see whether, example, like Lululemon, Netflix, are they too high in price already? And then based on Motley Fool, there are actually 3 stocks that they recommend. One is called Take-Two, which is a gaming stock. Okay, they are the founder, creator of Grand Theft Auto. And then, of course, we have Walt Disney, which is a very familiar stock in our UI community. And lastly, they also recommend this stock called Pinterest. Okay, so Pinterest, I think, is not that popular in this part of the world, but apparently it's quite popular in US. So I did some digging. I actually went digging. The nun went digging. And so what is Pinterest? So Pinterest is like an online pinboard. A lot of people look at Pinterest for recipes. And to me, after looking through some of the Pinterest stuff, I think the popular one are infograms or infographics. Okay, so there are also some terminology. When you share Pinterest, each bookmark is called a pin. When you share someone else, it's called repin and stuff. So it's like a whole lingo by themselves. But for us, we are not that familiar, right? So let's us understand the whole social media context of Pinterest. So example, if you are using Twitter, okay, I'm eating a donut, okay, based on donut. And if you are posting on Facebook, you are telling people I like donuts. If you use Instagram, right, then hey, here's a very interesting vintage photo of my donut. Okay. And if you are posting on YouTube, you're telling people, hey, this is how I eat a donut. Okay. And if you post on LinkedIn, you say, oh, I'm actually very good at making donuts. So Pinterest, according to the explanation here, is talk about, here's a donut recipe. Oh, so Rachel actually uses Pinterest. I'm not sure what is Rachel sharing on Pinterest. Okay, and then of course, if I'm using a Last FM now, I'm listening, or Spotify, I'm listening to donuts. So I did a Halloween search on Pinterest, and these are the top 3 Pinterest posts that I found. Okay, I hope you didn't get spooked. That was the baby investor making sure that you guys are still staying attention. Okay, so Halloween movies. Halloween movies. So examples, this is a Pinterest showing the not too spooky Halloween movies. And then there's a recipe of making different drink mix cocktails using Pinterest as a recipe. So like example, the jelly bean is a 1 part tequila, 1 part sambuca, and a splash of grenadine and stuff like that. And then of course they also share like what is the devilish playlist for Halloween. So I hear that like Rachel is looking for inspiration on Pinterest. Crypto Turtle actually uses Pinterest too. So I guess not many people are using Pinterest, but it's interesting because it is very the adoption rate in the US is much higher than outside of US. So that actually tells me one thing: there could be some growth opportunity. Bowen, so do you use Pinterest? Or
I don't really use Pinterest though.
Do you use it to search for inspiration?
In the past, yes, I know that there's a lot of good photos, good recipes, and yep, it's definitely something that's good for knowledge base.
Okay. So this is what I extracted from Motley Fool. Motley Fool have quite a good coverage on Pinterest. This is one of their covered stock. So one of the analysts from Motley Fool says that the average user of US generate about $5 of revenue for the company, but the average international user, meaning you and me, who was outside of the US, only generated 0.36. So this is like almost 10 times lesser. Okay, so that shows that there's a pretty big gap, and if they can do something to actually increase the revenue from international users like us, then there's a possibility for growth in terms of the revenue. So that's one point. Okay, and also it says that the company is doing a good job narrowing the gap between international average user revenue and US revenue. So that means they are doing something about it. Okay, so one thing interesting is also Pinterest is coming out with the earnings on the 4th of November, which is on Thursday this week. So according to Motley Fool, Wall Street is expecting the revenue to actually jump 43%, okay, and adjusted EPS to soar 77% and stuff like that, okay. So all eyes will be on the US user growth. I believe it's still a very US centric social media, just like Twitter is also very US centric. But if the rest of the world catch on to it, then there could be a potential hyper growth for Pinterest. Like people start to share recipes, I don't know, costumes and stuff. Something that's interesting that is with information. Okay, so I think to distinguish it from Instagram is sharing beautiful pictures. Okay, but this one is sharing nice pictures with information. Okay, so things like recipe and stuff like that. So there could be a gap that needs to be filled by Pinterest in other parts of the world. So that's what makes me a bit interested on Pinterest. So later maybe we can take a look at the technicals, but I roughly look at the Morningstar FA on it. It reminds me of one company actually, because what happened is from a lot of things is from losses turning to gains in the last 1 year. So like example, the EPS just turned positive, the net margin is increasing, ROIC is increasing and stuff like that. So Bowen is actually is very similar to one of the company that we covered pretty much previously. Do you know which one is that?
New.
Similar, but it looks more similar to Tesla about 2 years ago. Okay, so but I'm not saying that it has such a strong growth as Tesla, but it's like what it's telling me is it is actually on a turning point from negative to positive earnings and stuff like that. So things could be quite interesting for Pinterest. So that's why I have my eyes on it. Okay, just to scare you guys a bit. Okay, so we're gonna talk about some terminology. Okay, so we mentioned dead cat bounce, okay, or dead cat rebound. So this is a true story. So basically, if you throw a cat down from a high floor, right? Okay, a dead cat will actually bounce if it falls far or fast enough. Okay, so this is, and in the stock market, there's this thing actually called dead cat bounce. So what happens is means that the market is coming down and coming down and coming down, and suddenly you see, there is a revival, but after that, it's keep coming down. So a lot of investors are actually caught in the dead cat rebounds because they think that, oh, this is a time to go in. Okay, so dead cat rebound is pretty scary. So you need to know your TA pretty well in order to not get caught in the dead cat rebound for this. Okay, and then the second one I'm going to talk about is this thing called vampire stocks. Okay, or vampire, as we all know, right, is blood sucking. So when it comes to blood sucking, to me, does it remind you of this thing called value trap? Okay, value trap means that this stocks looks very, very cheap, but actually, right, there's a reason why it's cheap. So these are the top 3 reasons why people fall for value traps. The first one is low price, okay, low stock price. People focus solely on the price instead of the valuation. So they say, oh, this price is so low, I'm going to enter, it's going to rebound. But always remember, low can go lower if the stock has no value. Okay, so the second one is what is there to lose in terms of the stock. So it's like it has already so low. Example, AMC, okay, it's something like that. The stock is already so low. How low can it get? Even if go bankrupt, how low can it go? So people start buying it and stuff like that. So these are like value traps. And then the last one is they think that they can actually fish the bottom, okay, bottom fishing for the stocks. So all these are what I call vampire sucking stocks. Bowen, do you know, or do you think that some stocks are actually value trap in your port or in your watch list?
I think previously, Intel to me is a value trap.
Okay.
It appears to be very good, very cheap, but I think the business fundamental has changed. But I think Intel, what they have done right, I think over the past few months with the new CEO coming in, I think, yep, instead of becoming a value trap, it might actually turn out to be a great value after all, especially with the shortage in semicon, right? And Intel is, in a way, the US representative. So let's see.
Yeah, but very good point. A value trap may not be a value trap forever. So like Intel, it could be a value trap previously, and now Bowen see that there could be some reason that there's actually real value emerging for it. So yeah, so but just be careful of these 3 points when you're looking at very cheap stocks. Okay, they could be actually value traps. Okay, the next one I'm going to share about is this thing called spooky investing tales. Okay, so this I'm going to generalize it. Basically, these are investing stories from our student. I'm not going to name names and stuff like that, but generally it represents a fair percentage of the investor outside also. So the first type of investors I call is this, we call the headless horseman. Bowen, are you familiar with this story, the headless horseman?
Not really.
Okay. Your childhood, you didn't read this. So basically about this guy who lost his head and then he keep searching the bridge for his head. So in a nutshell, that's it. So but the spooky investing tale about this is there are actually a lot of headless horsemen in the market. And this type of headless horsemen is they don't know their fundamentals, they don't know the TA, and they buy stocks and sell stock based on other people's opinion. Okay, basically they're just hearing, oh, my friend say this is very good, I'm gonna buy this. My friend say that is very good, I'm gonna buy that. And they just buy. Then after that, right, when it doesn't materialize, they're going to ask your friend, hey, why didn't turn up? Then they cannot find a friend and the friend gone already. So headless horsemen are basically people who listen to rumors, listen to tips, okay, without doing their own due diligence. So for us, right, we try not to be a headless horseman because stock market will go up and down. You need a certain conviction in the stocks in order to hold on to the stocks, okay? And if you do not have this conviction, right, you'll be like a headless horseman. When people tell you to buy, you buy. People tell you to sell, you sell. Okay, if you think you have been a headless horseman before, or you are still a headless horseman, can you just type in horse into the chat, horse? Okay, it's okay. If you have been but you are no longer a horseman, but or you are still currently a horseman, headless horseman, just type in horse into the chat group. Let's see how many horses we have. Okay. Second, spooky investing tales. Okay, we all know the hungry ghost, right? Bowen, are you familiar with hungry ghosts?
Of course, I'm one of them.
Okay. Yeah. But what this is what we are talking about. Those who are coming out on the 7th month of Chinese New Year, and then you know the scary image of them eating the joystick, and also the candles and stuff like that. Okay, so hungry ghosts. So how does hungry ghosts appear in the investing market? Okay, basically, right, the hungry ghosts, right, just go. Oh, that's scary. Is that a hungry ghost? Okay, I think we lost half of the audience already. So the hungry ghost, right, in investing terms, right, are basically people who just keep buying and buying and buying without knowing their risk exposure, or in our terms about portfolio sizing. Okay, so in UI we teach people how to do actually portfolio sizing per trade. You should have a certain percentage, your overall portfolio, how much exposure into high risk, medium risk, and low risk stocks. Okay, but the hungry ghosts, right, don't have all this. They just buy and buy and buy and buy. Then what happens is when you eat too much, right, okay, you get indigestion. So when the market suddenly turn, right, okay, then all these hungry ghosts, right, suddenly will all have very, very painful ending. So try not to be a hungry ghost when you invest. Make sure you know your position sizing, make sure you know what are your risk exposure and stuff like that. Okay, so yeah, I think Pone is scaring the hell out of everybody. Okay, let's play some quiz. Now is the time for you all to understand or participate in a quiz. Okay, so the first question, I got 3 questions. Okay, 3 questions. Okay, the first question is, trading and investing involves praying. Extensive praying is needed before each trade. True or false? Can you all type in your answer for this one? Okay, be careful. If you're wrong about this one, the nun will hunt you down. So don't get it wrong. Trading and investing involves praying. Extensive praying is needed before each trade. What do you all say? Okay, false, false. How about the others? Mostly saw say false. Okay. 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 Ivan Law say true. Yes. So Ivan Law does quite a fair bit of praying before each trade. Okay. So the answer is actually false. Okay, you don't need to pray. You need to have a game plan and a strategy. Praying is not part of a game plan. Okay, so don't need to pray. If you have a game plan and a strategy, you're okay. Okay. Okay, the second question. The bigger your portfolio, the more scared you should be. Yes or no? Okay, that means the bigger portfolio, let's say your portfolio has grown from 10K to 100K to 1 million. Should you be more scared, or because you got more money, you should be less scared? So yes or no, type in your answer now. The bigger your portfolio, the more scared you should be. A lot say no. Some say yes, T say yes, Ken say no, Lucinda say no, Meishi say no, all say no. Okay. Okay. I think Bo need to scare you all a bit, because the answer is actually yes. What I'm saying is because when the portfolio become bigger, okay, you are scared to lose your money. Okay. So you have to become a bit more risk adverse. Okay, so when the portfolio, let's say, go to 1 million, you don't have to take the same amount of risk that you are doing when your portfolio is only 10K, because you are talking about capital preservation. Okay, not so much about capital accumulation. Okay, so this is in my opinion, when your portfolio become bigger, you should be more scared and go for low risk investment rather than risking in high risk investment. Okay, so this is my opinion for this. That is scary, Bowen. Okay, so the last question, this one not so easy. It's a multiple choice. 4 answers, and you have to choose who has the scariest. In these terms, the scariest is best return among the 4 of them. Okay, when we say about it, that means publicly we are able to track how well the fund or their investing has been doing over a number of years. We are talking about the highest returns average per year. Okay, average return per year. So who do you think? A, B, C, or D? A is Warren Buffett. I think you all know Warren Buffett, a very good value investor. Okay, he's very good track record. B, we have this guy called Michael Burry. Okay, so he's the guy which inspired the movie The Big Short. So he made a lot of money shorting the subprime crisis. Okay. The third one is Peter Lynch, a very legendary fund manager, okay, who ran a fund for 20 years with very, very good returns also. And the last one is Katie Woods, okay, Auntie Katie, who run ARK Invest. So A, B, C, D, put in your answer. Wow, this one I got all the different answers, many, many answers. Let's see. Let's give you some facts. Okay, for Michael Burry, he run this thing called Scone Capital. He actually recorded 489% over 8 years. 489% over 8 years. So what we need to find out is what is his compounded average growth rate per year. Okay, for that. Okay, so if you are very good in math, you can calculate. So what is his percentage per year for the 8 years? What is his average returns for this? Secondly, Warren Buffett, 30 years track record, average is 20% a year. Okay, as a value investor, he's able to do 20% a year, which is very, very good already. But he's not the best because Peter Lynch, okay, this American investor mutual fund manager, averaged 29.2% annual return from 1977 to 1990. Okay, so currently, if you look at these three, right, you need to calculate Michael Burry's returns. You know, Warren Buffett lose out to Peter Lynch. So now, but one lady haven't appeared yet. Okay, so Katie Wood, okay, last year 2020 performance was 152% for ARK, ARKK, okay, the fund that he managed. But if you look at the fund performance of Katie Wood over the long run since inception, okay, we look at the market price, that means the market price that moves. So it's 29.66%. So currently 29.66 is actually even higher than Peter Lynch. And lastly, right, this chart, okay, I help. My math not so good, so I got one of the coaches CS to actually help me calculate. So based on this, right, the compounded average growth rate for Michael Burry was 21.95. Okay, so he's slightly above Warren Buffett, lose to Peter Lynch, and lose to Katie Wood. So the winner for this was actually who typed D previously. So the answer is Auntie Katie. Okay, it's Katie Woods who has the best return so far, but whether she can maintain this track record, we are not sure. So that's end of my portion of the Nun's Happy Halloween quiz for you guys. I hope you learned something from it. So if you enjoy the sharing, can you just type in Nun, N-U-N, N-U-N. And I'm gonna hand it back to the baby investor.
All right, you can hear me. So thank you to my friend Danan for sharing with all of us such a wonderful company. We have company like a Pinterest. We have company like what else?
We have Walt Disney, Take-Two, Pinterest, and the expensive stock. We have Netflix. We have Mondana. Yep.
Wow. So shall we take a look at the chart? Because the chart will tell you everything. Let's bring out the chart. Okay, let's take a look at the first company, which is Pinterest. I think this company is pretty interesting because previously there was actually news where I've forgotten which company was the one that wanted to buy them over. Is it
I remember, was it Twitter or Snapchat?
Yeah, let me just take a look at the I remember there was a huge company that was buying out Pinterest. Oh yes, PayPal. Right.
Okay,
So
PayPal.
there was actually news that PayPal wanted to buy over Pinterest, and that's where you see the huge run up of Pinterest, right? And suddenly PayPal said that they actually are not going ahead with the deal. and you can see that the price literally just fell through back to the downtrend. As of now, yes, personally, I do see that Pinterest has got great fundamental. They have just turned profitable. And when you look at the free cash flow of this business, they have also turned positive, which also means that they have more firepower to invest, okay, and literally grow the business to reach out to more customer base as well, right? But if you look at the chart itself, you can actually see that it is still heading downwards. So you have to trust baby investor. When the stock is going down, you do not want to go in yet, right? So some of you would be wondering, but what about the earnings? Okay, what if the earnings turns out to be really good and the price jump? And so baby investor has advice for you. What if it jumped the opposite direction? What if it jumped down? Right. So earnings is always a double-edged sword. It can jump up, it can jump down. Right. If it jump up, I think it is still okay, to actually enter because, at least the trend could have changed direction. So personally, I will continue to monitor this and let's see how the earnings will go for Pinterest. And let's take a look at, I think there are quite a number of companies as well. Let's take a
Look
look
at Take-Two or Disney. Yeah, Disney and then Take-Two.
first. Okay, wow. Do you see what I see? Okay, yeah, so Disney pretty much moving in a sideways trend as the current moment. All right, so if you ask me, they are pretty much at a support area. Okay, a support area. So if you're looking at long-term perspective, I think this might be some opportunity for you to buy and hold. But if you are looking at riding the trend, then probably not at the current moment. Like I said, this stock could continue to go ding dong for a period of time. And I think one thing a lot of people is very focused on for Disney is about the Disney Plus. Okay, because we know that for the theme park, it is still definitely being impacted with COVID, right? But for Disney Plus, I think they are facing, pretty strong fighting from Netflix, right? I think Netflix has actually done extremely well, even with the recent launch of Squid Game, so that actually put Netflix as, I would say, one of the top position in terms of streaming. So I think this is where I think the upcoming earnings will also be interesting, where we can actually get a lot more information on the current status of the theme park as well as these, the subscription rate coming from Disney Plus as well. Wow, that's scary.
Oops.
Okay, yeah. So that is actually for Disney. What other company? Take-Two, right? Take-Two Interactive. So you mentioned this is actually the company that deals with Grand Theft Auto. Is it GTA?
Yes, Grand Theft Auto, yes.
Okay. Wow. Interesting. Let's zoom out the chart a little bit. Okay. You can actually see that this stock has been going higher and higher. I'm not sure about the valuation, but I think, yeah, definitely they must have been doing something right. So previously it was coming back down, but actually over here you can actually see there was a crosses. So which also put this company back on the uptrend. Okay, back on the uptrend. So if you are looking to continue to ride this company, I think the opportunity might be here. But again, be aware because earnings is coming up on the 3rd of November, which is in a couple of days. So do you want to take the risk? Or do you want to wait for earnings to be over before you jump in? You gotta, manage your game plan. I think this is very, very important. All right, that's for the 3 company that you have. What about the rest of you? Do you have any question, or do you have any company that you want to actually take a look? The baby investor and the Nan is here to help you. No more bonus, Luciana. You're too late. What do you have any question for the baby investor or the Nan? Right, while waiting for the question to come out, okay, maybe I'll share you something interesting. Right. Okay, wow, fantastic. The company is back. Okay. Yes, Tesla. Okay, let's take a look at Tesla. Let's take a look at Tesla.
To the moon.
Okay, yeah,
Sky
so
is the limit.
congrats. Really congrats to those who actually entered Tesla. Okay, because I think I have been, somewhere around this period of time. I did actually mention that I think it is actually a pretty good opportunity to enter. In fact, my mom bought it at about 600 and 640, somewhere around this period of time. All right. So, for those of you who are looking to enter, with the recent run up, I do see that there might be some pullback coming soon. Let me just draw it out. Let the baby investor show you. Okay, where's my line? Okay, yeah. So I do see that it might go up a little bit more, but there could be a pullback. Okay. So ultimately, I think if you ask me what is your investing time frame, I think this is very important. So even with the pullback, okay, personally, I do see that if you are holding for long enough, it will go to the moon now. Okay, it will go to the moon. Right. So again, I think personally for me, I'm looking at really, I have position that I'm willing to hold for 2030 and beyond. I have some, long-term option position to actually ride the trend and also to actually, take the profit and buy more share. Right. But as of now, if you have not jumped in, if you're looking at something mid to long term, I don't advise you to jump in yet. Okay. But if you're looking at really long term, then I would say that continuously accumulate. You don't have to put in all the money. Maybe you can split your money that you're willing to allocate to Tesla, split them into 3 different entries. Just go in with 1/3 of it. If there's a correction, go in again. And if it starts going back up, you can go in with the third, tranche. So split up your entry. I think that would be perfect. Right. So that is for Tesla. What about Twitter? So, Paul, what do you think about the fundamental of Twitter? Do you have any
Like I said, just like Pinterest is very much US centric. So I'm not a user of Twitter, but I would say for it to stay for so long, they must be doing something right lah. But frankly, I didn't really study too much about this company. Yeah.
Okay, wow, you can actually see it. Sorry, let me just look at the earnings. You can look at the recent earnings. It was actually, it was estimated at positive, but it actually turned out to be negative. Wow. Okay, so that was a pretty bad earnings, and that also resulted in the drop. Right. So to be honest, okay, I would say that Facebook, in terms of the advertising, Facebook has definitely done extremely well. They are super good at generating cash from the advertising dollars. But we have also seen, Facebook is shifting the whole business model out of, advertising is still important, but they have actually seen that this is a space that more and more people are coming in. So they are moving to something that is pretty extreme, which is actually the AR, okay, augmented reality and virtual reality, and even changing the whole business to name to become Meta. Right. So with that, I guess in terms of the advertising part, it's going to be even more challenging for the other players in the market like Twitter. Right. So especially with the recent earnings, which is negative, I think it does has a red flag for us to actually take note. And of course, from the chart perspective, okay, I think it could continue to go further down. So again, I would say there's no entry. Okay, let's take a look at Palantir, because I think this is also one of the very much discussed company. There are a lot of people are actually pretty interested, right? I think if you look at my chart, I think pretty much my chart has given you the answer. So for Palantir, yes, personally, I think they have really great potential with the things, the big data that they are able to do. But right now, they are still in a sideways trend. So let's wait. If they are able to break above the green line, then I would personally, for me, that would be my entry point. And just to illustrate to you, you can see it looks pretty similar to what Stratasys is actually doing. This stock has also been going sideways for a period of time, and the moment it broke the short-term sideways trend, you can see that the gain was pretty awesome. I mean, as of now it's 14%, but as of the highest, it was actually about 22% within a short period of time. So for Palantir, if it were to be able to break out of the sideways trend, I would say that there will be an opportunity for us to look at it, okay, to enter. And of course, if you look at Apple, okay, maybe I'll just take this last company, Apple. Right, so Apple, yes, you can see that Apple has been on a very much long uptrend, okay, for a long period of time. So great company. Yep. So I would say that Apple would definitely continue to trend upwards. Okay, and of course, they have actually released the earnings recently. I think it was doing pretty okay. Okay, I mean, I think the growth rate coming from Apple is somewhere in the range of 30-40%, right? But remember, Apple is a huge company. So for them to actually continue to get this kind of margin, for them to continue to generate this kind of growth, I think that is pretty amazing. And we have also seen for Apple, they are actually focused a lot more on the ecosystem, okay, on the subscription. And at the same time, I think with the new M1 chip and now with the new M1 Plus or M1 Pro, whatever, right? So we have actually seen more and more people, giving raving comments, feedback. I mean, not feedback, but raving reviews about the new laptop that Apple has actually produced. And this in a way, no other laptop brands is able to compete with Apple in terms of pricing, in terms of performance, right? So I think the Apple will continue to dominate in terms of this space, right? And ultimately, where more and more people jump into their whole ecosystem, then people will also, if you buy your first laptop, your first MacBook Air, the next thing you probably do is maybe I can also change to iPhone, and then the next thing you realize you'll be buying your EarPod, you'll be buying your AirPod, you'll be buying your Apple Watch, and you'll be subscribing to iTunes and all that. So you can see that what they are trying to do is really to get everybody into the ecosystem. So I personally feel that, Apple might not be like Tesla where it's going to grow like 5 times, 10 times, but I think this is a company that, on a year-to-year basis is able to grow 30-40%. And if you invest for it long enough, the share price will continue to go upwards. Right. So I think with the current charting, I think it is also a good entry for us to continue to ride uptrend upwards for Apple.
Yeah, so one thing to add about Apple is you can know that the handphone business is very hard to grow, but what they are doing is they are doing a lot of things on the wearables or the accessory parts that you say the ecosystem. So the AirPods, the iWatch and stuff like that, they're gonna spend a lot of time on that. And Apple is a company flush with cash. And if you see that Facebook is going towards the metaverse, the augmented reality and stuff like that, Apple can easily also go into that space. They got the financial power, they have the know-how and everything. So it could be interesting. I think Facebook just fire a shot to all the tech giants, including Google, including Apple, including Microsoft, and say, hey, I'm gonna move towards the augmented reality part. So you guys, are you gonna follow me? So I think it's a very, very interesting new industry that can be hot for the next 3 to 5 years. Yeah, that's my take.
All right, yep. So maybe before we also end off, maybe for the Nan, okay, what are some of the scary company? Okay, when we say scary means that they are super good, super scary. What are some of the scary company that you're actually looking out and also planning to, probably they're already in your portfolio, or companies that you are looking to add into your portfolio?
Okay, so in the EV space, I think the people in the community know that I'm bullish on Tesla. I'm bullish on a Chinese company called BYD. Okay, so BYD has this thing called the Blade battery, which is the safest battery currently in the whole world. And so in EVs space, these are the two companies that I'm looking at. I continue to monitor Facebook. I think the advertising part is doing fantastically well, but moving towards this metaverse part. I'm not sure whether it will be how successful they are, but they definitely have the financial powers to do that and stuff like that. So these companies are interesting, and of course, cybersecurity is something which I'm looking at. So one company is CrowdStrike, okay, which I was introduced by one of our coaches also. So CrowdStrike is something I think fundamentally they are very good. And the other one is actually this company called Fortinet. Okay, Fortinet was actually found out during our boot camp by some of our students, and they keep coming up to be found when it was filtered through our 5-star checklist. So this company continue to outperform the market and have very good fundamentals. Yeah, so Fortinet and CrowdStrike are two companies in the cyber security area which I'm looking into. Yeah, so that's so much for now.
All right, wow, that's fantastic, right? So I think ultimately we are looking at some of the big spaces like the EV, and in terms of the tech space, in terms of the cyber security. I think for people who have been following UI, previously we have actually shared with all of you, 5 major trends that we feel that will be actually doing very, very well moving forward. I think 5G is definitely one of them. Semiconductor, right? If you have been invested in semicon, you should do pretty well. All right. We have seen AMD, Nvidia, even TSM, Skyworks, and all these companies, they have done extremely well over the last 1 year. And also cybersecurity, I think with the widespread of the internet and digitalization, hackers are getting more and more advanced and getting busier and busier. So that's where CrowdStrike, company like CrowdStrike, would actually do extremely well as well. Right? And I think like the EV space, the clean energy, huge market. Even when we look at Singapore itself, Singapore government not really a fan of EV because they rejected Tesla years ago. But we have actually seen that Tesla, after coming to Singapore, within a short period of time, they are now the 6th, highest selling electric vehicles. Just for you guys to know that actually there are quite a number of electric vehicles in Singapore, from BMW, Audi, and even MG, many
Yes.
other brands, right? But the moment Tesla came in, immediately they are like the number one spot. And personally, this is something that I personally feel. I think next year, Tesla actually has a potential to be the best-selling car in Singapore, right? So that is pretty amazing coming from a brand that is just new in Singapore, right? And of course, we know that if you stay in a HDB, the charging is not exactly that convenient, but yet people are actually willing to have the inconvenience of going to the shopping mall or going to some other places to charge, just because they want to own a Tesla. Right? So that thing
Yeah,
is very powerful.
and for those people who are wondering why the Cat B COE has now went up from 70K to 80K, right? It's because the Tesla cars are all using Cat B's COE because it has a higher power. So that's one of the reasons why COE is keep going out. And according to what Bowen has been talking about, right? If Tesla become the best-selling car in Singapore next year, then expect the Cat B to keep going up in terms of the COE. So very interesting. Tesla is really bringing in a lot of changes when they go into a new country. Yep.
Right. And maybe before we end off, I think I just wanted to also share something really, really powerful from this particular article. I'm not sure, have you guys actually heard of this guy called Leo Ko Guan? Okay, maybe you've heard of it, maybe not. But basically, this gentleman, okay, is a botak guy. Okay, he's a guy, okay. He is the third largest shareholder in Tesla, with over 7 billion holdings. Value. And this guy is actually living in Singapore. So if you actually met this guy, please get a signature from him. But I think ultimately what is very important is actually in terms of how he actually make so much wealth. You can actually see that over here his strategy is basically he just keep buying stock options and using the profit from the options. He basically take profit and buy them into Tesla share, right? So that is, to me, very, very brilliant strategy, using options to maximize your gain and subsequently using the gain to buy into the share and hold it for long term. So some people will say that if you have a huge capital, you shouldn't do options, right? But this guy is 7 billion, and just last week he actually added another 1 billion in options. So it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. But if these rich people are actually doing it, right? Definitely something must be right. So I think something he mentioned over here, which also deals very well with what UI is actually doing. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But fortunately, I win more of the time than I lose, right? So that is all about, managing your risk reward, and also letting your profit run and having a cut loss in place, a stop loss in place. These are all rules that, we have been emphasizing a lot. And you can see even for people like this billionaire, yeah, it is pretty much the same theory. It is the same theory, it is the same system. The only difference is he got more zero than me. All right, but it's okay. When you go to the toilet, we all look the same. Right. So I think this is a very great learning lesson. Okay. Especially people say that you want to learn from successful people, right? This is a billionaire, and let's learn from how he actually do it. All right. So yep. Thanks everyone for actually joining us today. And of course, I think just now for our mini challenge, we have a winner, and that is Pei Li. So Pei Li, thanks for actually spending so much attention looking at the screen, because when you actually focus on the screen, something amazing is going to happen. Okay, yes. So congrats to Pei Li once again. We will be actually contacting you likely tomorrow. We will have a special prize. We can't release it right now, okay? But tomorrow we'll let you know what is this special prize. And again, I think thanks everyone for also joining us for our Market Watch and for joining our special Halloween series. And can we all say, type in CCC, okay? Because today we have very, very special guest, the Nun. Usually, she only appears in movie. Okay, you didn't realize she's actually a movie star. Go and search The Nun. I think maybe on Netflix or YouTube, or you might be able to see her movie. All right, yeah, but be sure to on the light because it's pretty scary. All right. So The Nun, do you have any last words for them?
Treat safe, be safe, and don't do scary stuff. So happy Halloween to everybody.
Yes. Right. So thanks everyone for joining us, and we look forward to see you guys next week. And if next week you don't come, you know what's gonna happen. Okay. The baby investor and the Nun will look for you. So see you next coming Sunday, 9 p.m. as usual. I'll see you guys, and most importantly, stay safe, be safe, and don't forget to keep your lights on. All right. Bye-bye.